Welcome. Right now, I will be talking about sharing some experiences on this journey to true self. When I came into realization and came into the realization of the duality and of the gods and all the other beings, playing different characters, playing different roles. When the beings come and they do not want the truth to be known, because the people are a slave to the gods and the demons and all of them, they are a slave to them, and so they do not want the people to know the truth because they don't want them to be liberated. They don't want the self to be liberated, and they don't want the minds of the people to be liberated. And so I am here to chant liberation for the self and to chant liberation to be free from all this mind control and all these things that's been happening for ages. So it's time for all the beings to wake up and come into self-realization. All the suffering just because of the ignorance of all the self and the ignorance of all the duality disembodied consciousness beings that are not in awareness of themselves and exploring the world as 100% ego. So they have no self-awareness and their light is obscure, and so they have a madness in their consciousness, the sickness, the deranged mind. So most times, this is how I sleep, sitting up like this. And for a long time, for over a year, this was how I was sleeping, sitting like this. Now, I lay back in the sofa, but I still have to cross my legs and my body has to be like this. But I rest my upper torso back. So I cannot, if I ever forget to and like go into a sleep with my legs uncrossed, the beings will get me. I usually sometimes when I get really tired, then I used to sleep for like an hour at a time or so or less, and then but now that the Supreme is purifying the minds of the beings, because for many ages these beings do not sleep because they take the light, and this is why their mind is so deranged. Their mind is deranged because the consciousness needs time to rest. It's very important, and their consciousness is not getting time to rest and time to heal. So this is the reason why their consciousness is so deranged. And so because of this, the Supreme will put them, she goes within them and put them into sleep so that they can rest their consciousness. And sometimes I might be resting for maybe 2 hours or more, or I say a couple of times even 3 hours go straight, and that never happened. And I was wondering, like, why did that happen? I never rest like that. Then I realized the Supreme was telling me that she was putting them into rest. So no, I will, if I see the consciousness getting a little weary and stuff, then I will ask the Supreme, is it time for the consciousness to rest? And because usually it's like maybe like 10, between 10 and 2, that's when the consciousness rests, and always have to get up by 2. So sometimes like within that 10 to 2, I might go to rest like 2 times. I go to rest, I get maybe an hour or so, get back up, I go back to rest again. And sometimes when the Supreme wants the consciousness to rest for a while, when she have a good handle on them, then it might last straight 3 hours or so, and then she'll wake me back up. Once they get up, sometimes I might wake up and then wake up the consciousness. So this is how it has been, because you can't really sleep because the consciousness is always trying to get you, and it's always trying to trance you in a sleep. So because I have the Self-Supreme Primal Light within, this is how I am able to sleep, to get rest, the consciousness, because you definitely want to get to the state, to the non-dual state, where you're not sleeping and your consciousness is not dreaming. But I cannot get to that state because I have to deal with all the consciousness, and they would take the self. They will take the consciousness if I have it. So I cannot get the non-dual consciousness. I have to stay with the tainted consciousness, and I just have to the rest it, and the light purifies it. And so this is the truth of this existence, and this is the same thing for the beings in the selves that are classifying themselves human beings and don't know that they are the self. And you have to rest the mind in stillness so that the mind can be healed and the mind can be purified. Because when you don't do that, this is when you have all these deranged thoughts, when you have depression and all these other things. And you have to stay away from anything that alters your consciousness, that break into your mind. What you're doing is breaking into your mind. You're scaring the mind, and the mind is freaking out. This also the self freaks the self out. The self leaves the body. So it's dangerous when you're going through this process to fall asleep, when you have the consciousness constantly fighting with you. And so many of you, like I said, you will never have to face this because your destiny is different. What your destiny is right now, you need to go ahead and start working on waking up your sleeping self and castrating your ego so that you can come into realization and awareness that you are sleeping, and you can come into the awareness of who you are and can merge yourself back together into one unified self. This is a very good point that I want to make right now, that when anyone trying to communicate with me, or they when I try to share this knowing with others, the consciousness might try to scare you. It will come into your sleep, in your dream, and scare you. And it scares a lot of people, and a lot of them don't want to associate with me because they are afraid. But it's time to face your fears, and it's time to face these the demonic aspect of yourself. It's time to face it, and it's time to stop being afraid. And so stop giving the consciousness all this power. Take back your power. It's time to stand up to them. Time to stand up to all the gods and all the disembodied duality consciousness beings. Okay? Because remember that the self, they are sleeping. And this is the ego that has risen up within them. And the ego is the one that has become the monster. And they don't know that they have to go within themselves to castrate that ego so that they can rise up also. They have to do the same thing we have to do. And so this is the reason why you have to face your fear and know that you are the Self-Supreme. Call on the Self-Supreme, Primal Light. Call on Supreme Self, Supreme Ra. Call on Shiva. They are there to assist you. They are the Supreme Selves, that they are the partial duality Supreme Selves right now, because they are working tirelessly to bring the world into balance. And so they are there to assist you to bring you also into balance. Anyone show up and want your soul, know that you got the wrong self. You always have to practice discernment. You have to question. Say you call on Supreme Self, Supreme Ra. Say, I call on Supreme Self, Supreme Ra. I call on Supreme Self, Supreme Ra. And you can say it not loud, but in your mind. And she shows up. What you're doing, you're going to ask, is this Supreme Self, Supreme Ra, the sun? And if she says yes, then you said, can you help me? You call on Shiva. I'm calling on Shiva. I'm calling on Shiva. Shiva show up. You ask, is this Shiva? Horus. So you ask a question, and Shiva is the masculine principle, and Shiva is the self-consciousness of Aset. So you want to confirm all of those things to see if you have the right Supreme Self, because all the beings are very deceptive and deceitful. When you call on someone and you don't confirm who shows up is the right person, they trick you, because they love to play these games. Remember that this is a dream. They know that they're playing these tricks on you, and they love to do this. They love to trick you and keep you in ignorance and laugh at you. They love to do that. So you have to practice discernment. You have to question and ask. When a thought arises, you have to ask, where does this thought arises from? You always have to do this. So just remember that if any of them show up trying to scare you, you say that I know who I am. I've been there and I've already done that. Because you want them to know that you know that they are yourself. So you've been there. That's you. I've been there and I've already done that. You've been through all this process. I know who I am. I believe in myself. I am primal light. I am self-luminous. I am luminous, pure consciousness. What do you say? I am primal light. I am self-luminous. I am luminous, pure consciousness. I know who I am. I know who I am. I believe in myself. I know who I am. I believe in myself. I am primal light. I am self-luminous. I am luminous, pure consciousness. So remember that if you are wanting to know your truth and any being show up, if you need help, call on the Self-Supreme Primal Light. She's omnipresent. She is with me. She will never leave me. But she is omnipresent. She'll reach you wherever you are because you are the fragment of the Self-Supreme Primal Light. You are herself. You're all herself. Okay? So she can reach you wherever you are. Call on who? Self-Supreme Primal Light. That is your self-supreme self. Know that this is your self-supreme self. Stop thinking that you are not the self-supreme self and thinking that some God is more powerful and over you. This is the foolishness that you have entertained in your mind and your consciousness. And this is why you stay there enslaving yourself and keeping yourself in slavery. And it's time for you now to face yourself. Face yourself and face your truth. And do not allow fear to imprison you any longer. You guys should check out my music. I am going to put a link below because all of these songs, I am not the perfect singer, but I tell you, I'm singing them the right vibration. So you just listen to them, and they have freed me and helped me through this journey. Everything that I have sung is a story of what I was going through, and there's one that released me because I write it down and I sing it. So I bring it into my existence because I stay writing. See, I have books. If you look around me, paper. You see, for me to understand everything about the self, I make charts. I made like 5 charts because I made charts so that I can completely understand what the Supreme was trying to tell me about the self. I use my hands to write things down so that it can connect and I can remember it, and it can reprogram, all these memories, old memories. So you have to reprogram yourself. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. That is my share for today on that. And remember to join me every day because I will be sharing something about the experience that I've had, and also be doing a lesson or some topic from the book Soul Seed. All right. Thank you so much. I am Primal Light. Prepare for the world with the identity all set. Daughter of the Self-Supreme Primal Light. I am the liberator and advocate for all souls. I bow to you in love, in light, and in truth.